Welcome back, you wild and woolly Vikings. This is Julie 1961 for Old Gamers Never Die. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm at my base that I built out of an old Draugr camp that I cleaned out. And I built a workshop here that I need to move. It's kind of getting tight where it's at. It's an all-in-one build. I thought might be something good to do a tutorial on because I've had a few people on my server that have said it's really cool and they're going to build it in their bases. So I'm going to do that today. Hopefully it's something that you can use in your base. If you do decide to use it, do me a favor and put a like out here. Let me know that you enjoyed the video, that you're finding the information useful. It was something that you could use on your base as you play through the game. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And if you do, make sure you ring the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a video to Old Gamers Never Die. And with that, let's get this puppy started. Okay, well, the first thing you have to do for a workbench is tear it down if you're going to move it. But I'll just walk around it real quick so you can see what we've got here. I've got a couple fermenters on the end. My beehives that are no longer happy because they're too tight in this area. I've got my forge with all the upgrades here. I've got some storage bins. Go through here. I've got a smelter and a wood kiln that you can actually get to, and it kicks all the charcoal out, so you just dump it into the smelter there. Got some more storage over here, and a forge with the upgrade. A workbench with the upgrades here, another beehive, and another fermenter. So as you can see, it's getting a little bit tight in here. Really, I built this thing because I had a heck of a lot of core wood that had nothing to do with but burning a kiln, and I was like, well, let's build something cool. So this is what I came up with. It works pretty well. I've kind of added to it as I built it, and I've got some other modifications I want to do as I rebuild. With that, I'm going to tear this sucker down, and that's kind of one of the most fun parts of a remodel is the demo. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'll also leave a list in the description of the video to show exactly what you'll need if you want to build it all the way to the max level. And certainly you can build it in pieces as you go, which is what I did. We'll do this, no mods, no assistance, no flying, no none of that stuff. I'll try to speed things up when we're just repeating things. What a mess. Who's cleaning this up? Alright, I'll be right back once I get everything in a box. Alright, we got everything torn down. Took a little nap for the night, and sun is coming up, so we are burning daylight. So the first step in this, I know everybody gets tired of hearing this, but you want to have fairly level ground. I've got some divots here in this area, and really what I want to do is move this whole thing back some into this zone here. So I'm going to level it all back out. The more level you have your situation, then the easier it is to get in and out of these workstations that we're going to build as we go. So just kind of quickly do this. I don't want to over level because, you know, when you start getting too much leveling done, it can impact your frame rate, and you don't want to do that. All right, that should do it. Okay, to start this build, again, I ran into a situation where I had a heck of a lot of core wood and nothing to do with it but burn it. So that was the start of this whole idea. So we'll start with picking up some core wood, and as like I said, the list of ingredients is down in the description. So we're going to need core wood, and we're going to need regular wood in our inventory to start with. Okay, all right, cool. The real center piece of this build is a square that you're going to put your smelter in. If you haven't gotten to the Smelter Age, it's okay. You won't put the centerpiece in there until you get your other parts in, and it may take some finagling. You may have to tear some pieces apart, but the good thing about this game is you get all your materials back when you do that, so you can just pop it back in there. All right, so we're going to start with putting down a crafting station, because if we don't have a workshop, we can't build anything. And we'll move this inside later, but for now, that's where it's going to sit. All right, so then we need some core wood, and we take the long 4-meter poles, and I think we're going to want this kind of oriented like this. Far enough away. Yep. All right, and then you want to take your horizontal poles, and you want to center it the way you want your build to be on in your location. For me, I want it to kind of face out that way. And now we're going to build on our other pieces. Again, the long pole there. And we're going to do horizontal pieces. Box this whole thing in. And a couple more legs. Find that if you look down, it clips the uprights in about where you want them. And they're a little bit... Oh, are they blue? That one's blue. That one's green. And if you want to, you can always bump up the level of the ground here a little bit. I'm going to try to do that with the hoe. I think it's just so close. I think we can probably do it if I stand back here. We're going to give it a shot. There we go. All right, we're touching the ground there. Bring it up a little bit more. Okay, all right, so we're blue on all of our uprights. Okay, so now the next piece we're going to do is build the platform for the rest of the build. All right, so now we want to go to our just a regular wood flooring. And like I said, if you are not in a position to put a smelter down yet, then you'll just be doing this piece here. You do the outline all the way around your build. Yeah, just like that. All right, and the reason why we're going around the outside is because this is where the smelter is going to go. And it's got to be touching the ground. Or at least I haven't figured out a way not to have it touch the ground. So I'm going to pretty up this thing a little bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we've got our setup here for the basic structure. The next thing that you're going to want to do is put in your corners. So you need some more core wood for that. And I'll make this kind of a weird, disproportionate tic-tac-toe board, but you want to use the short horizontal pieces, and you want to go up 3. All right, when you get over here, you only want to put 2 down, and that'll be more clear as we go, but there's only 2 that go there. And again, this is to set you up so that you can put all the upgrades up to Iron Age in this one structure. All right, now that we have that, we're going to put in a couple of boxes. All right, so we drop a box here. I'm going to try to level it, get it right on the edge. And then you do the same thing on this side. You don't want it actually in the timbers, just as far over as you can get it. And now we're going to build our platform for the workstation. And we're going to use the shift method to get this lined up right. You want to tag it to the timber behind it and kind of move it up and down with the shift key being held down. Get it out here a little bit, not all the way past the edge, but right about there. And clip it in, and then you should be able to clip the next one in right beside it, and then come on across. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So now we're going to do the same thing, but you want to try to level it with this piece here. So you just watch and see it get merged in. You want to try to get it as close to being exactly on the money. Use your lines in the board to line up and click it in, and then do the same thing here. You want one more there, and now you have your platform for your workbench. Okay, so once you have those in here, You want to seal up the back part, so just clip it to where this, where that, you got to fiddle with it a little bit and get this in here to where the third level goes across. Alright, now you're here. Drop in this workbench. Get back as far as it can go and center it up and boom, you're good. Alright, now we gotta have a roof and we gotta have walls, or else it's not gonna work. But we are going to want to build this so that we can have our smelter inside of here and our kiln on top of it, and it'll all be enclosed. So we're going to have to go up some more. It's getting dark, so I'm going to take a little nap and then we'll get started again when it gets daylight. All right, well, it's morning. Actually, it's a couple mornings after I went to bed because the next day poured down raining and the next day was foggy all day and you couldn't see anything. So figured I'd wait till the sun came up and we can actually finish doing this. All right, so we put our workbench down. Now what we need to do is get this workbench covered, because if not covered, it's not going to work, right? So what we'll need to do is we'll need to fill in this box. Now this is going to be temporary while you're just in this stage where you're doing a workbench. Once you get to this stage where you're putting the smelter in, we're going to have to modify this a little bit, but I'll show you real quick what to do. All you're trying to do here is you want to fill this in with some more beams here. You want to add a roof. We're going to go with a 26-degree roof, and we're going to attach it right to the top here. Put another one right beside it. We have one more beam in here, and a 26-degree angle. Bend that right around. Usually get two in here. And do the same over here. Now with that, we should be able to go up here and access our workbench. And it works. For early game, you want to get a workbench put down and that's all you've got. You want to get this undercover. Go ahead and do it to this point and you're good to go. You can put some storage on the either side of it, but for now you can just use these two storage boxes underneath. But now you progress, and it didn't take very long. You're going to start needing metal. And to do that, you're going to have a smelter. Now, to put a smelter in here, this is going to have to either be bare ground or it's going to have a stone foundation. And you want to be on the ground here for the rest of the build on the outside so that everything falls in place. And I'll show you what I mean. All right, so we're going to get the materials to make the smelter. So we're going to need some certain cores and we're going to need some rock. What I like to do is zoom as far out as I can get, and we're going to try to place this smelter right in the center of this structure here. Go to crafting, get your smelter. All right, now you want this side facing back to you, because what you want to be able to do is, see, this is where the metal's going to come out. You want that over where I'm looking at to the left, so it spits out that side. The right side really doesn't matter because it's a vent, and then the other opposite side is where you put your metal in. All right, so you want to have this as best as you can get in the center of this structure. So that looks pretty good. We're going to put that down there and just kind of look around, make sure it's pretty well in the center. Looks pretty good. Okay, now for the tricky part. The next thing you're going to have is a wood kiln. You want to make charcoal, right? So you're going to need those extra certain cores and stone to make that, and it's going to go right on top here. So we're going to select this. Now, to get it up here, it's a little bit tricky because it's not going to want to go up there unless you're high enough. Pop the ladder up. Might take two. And bring it off to the side a little bit so you can look back, because that's kind of how you're going to be able to get it centered. All right, so you may need two ladders here just to get high enough. We'll see. All right, now you're going to look back and you're going to place your wood kiln down so that hole where the wood goes in and where the coal comes out is facing you this way, right? So right above where you're getting the, you're going to input the coal into the smelter. Get that is about as centered as you can get it. Really want to try to get it right in the center if you can. So take a second to get it as best you can do. And like I said, if you need to get up higher, put another ladder on there. But get it. You really want to get this thing centered in there so it'll work well with the build. All right, that looks pretty good. Clip that in. Okay, so now we're moving into the copper, bronze, and tin stage, and we're going to want more workspaces. So we're going to put a forge in. To get the forge is going to go on this side. It's going to go above this little opening here. But we need to do the similar thing that we did on the other side, which is put those boxes down so that we can have a gauge to how high we want to have this. We're going to build a couple more boxes. And again, you want to line them up with the outside edge of that platform, the flooring, whatever. Do the same thing on the other side. And it have to be perfect, but you want to get it as far over as you can. And then what we're going to do is zoom back in so I can see what I'm doing here. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to put those little small pieces of platform on here. Now here, since you've only got it up too high, you can really come on across into this area right here. And then come on up. Now the reason we're only putting 2 here is that this is where your bellows is going to go. I'm sorry, the game makes it go really close. You got to have a place for it to go, and this will fit, and it'll still work with everything. So that's why you have this little wait until later type opportunity here. We'll fill that in as we get the bellows up. All right, so similar to the other side, we're gonna fill in this side with these core wood logs. All right, so that is put in there. So now we got a place to put our forge. So to make the forge, we're gonna need a couple things. Let's go grab those out of the boxes. Okay, we got everything we need. Put this forge down. I really don't know what the front and the back of this thing is, but we're gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it a little bit to the left here. So again, on that short side, we've got some room to put the bellows in. So slide it over a little bit, you'll be fine. And clip it in place. So again, it's not gonna work till you put the sides on. And if you're just in the Bronze Age, you're not gonna have the iron to do the bellows yet. So we'll go ahead and close it in just like we did on the other side. All right, make sure it works. Yep. Okay, so now you've got your forge up, you've got your workstation up, and you're in the Bronze Age. Now you're going to start wanting to upgrade these things. Because of the way we've set these, we've got places to upgrade everything, and it's still being closed in this one small area. So what's the first upgrade station we'll do? We'll do the one for the wood crafting workstation first. So we need a chopping block. So we need wood and flint. We'll come over here and we'll put our chopping block right here. And just turn that handle back in there. That way you're not running into it every time you come underneath of it. Okay. That's done. Now the next piece that you might want to put down is the tanning station. So we need a little bit of leather scraps and deer hide. And we're going to put the tanning station right here. And you'll say, well, why does it need to go there? Well, there's a method to my madness you're going to see as we work this thing out. But for now, let's just put it right there. Now we've got the workstation up to level 3. I'll fix that stuff while we're here. And it's getting dark again. So we'll fix everything. We'll be ready to go in the morning. We'll come back in here and we'll get the smelter ready to roll. Say we burn in daylight, but it's not daylight yet. Hadn't quite come up. All right, sun's back up and it's not raining. Awesome. Look at my legs been going. All right, now we're gonna go to the build as it would be if you're gonna start enclosing things. This roof is not gonna work as we go through this whole process, so we're gonna tear this back off. It's perfect for just getting into bronze and covering your workshop. It's not something that is gonna cover everything all together. So we're gonna break these down. Again, be very careful what you're breaking. This is why I did not tell you to disassemble your workbench over here. If you're going into, if you're in iron and you're ready to go ahead and build this whole thing out, this is a piece that you're really not going to have to go through because you can just skip the closing this thing off and get it right the first time. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to get up high again. So we'll put some ladders down. Because you're going to want to put an extension on these corners of the poles here with some more core wood. And you want to get up high because you want to stack this right on top. You don't want it to go down into it. Right on top, take it like that. Same thing on this side. What we'll end up doing is we're going to enclose everything in one building. That's why we're going up here. So what you're going to want to have when you're building the entire building is something that is 7 logs high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 logs. Clip. Go in there. 7 logs there. 7 logs here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tear down this because if you're in the Iron Age, you're ready to go down and you're ready to put this bellows in this upgrade, this is where that comes in. So to make the bellows, we're going to need some chain. And we have some over here. I think the bellows is about the most finicky piece to put on any build. I like to go ahead if I can, when I'm building one of these, is to put this on early in because, I'm able to do that. If you haven't gotten to iron yet, you will get this step when you get to iron. So this is when you get to the Iron Age, is you're going to want this workstation. So the chains you'll find in the crypts, you also get them from the rays. When you kill those, get you some chains, you get your bellows put together, drop that in as your first upgrade to your forge. And then what you can do with this build is you can go ahead and finish out putting in all of these build pieces so that you're lined up with everything. And this should snap in perfectly well, even though the bellows is here. Okay, so we've got 7 high all the way around. And now we're going to use a long piece across the top here. And all the way around. Now what that's going to do is they're going to give us a snap point for the 45-degree roofing, which is what we're going to actually have on the finished build. You want to go to the highest point you can get it to snap at, and then come on around. And now grab your 45-degree angled box ends and snap those into place. Close off and snap them all the way up so that they snap at the top. We'll get through it, and you want to get through the bottom one. Okay. Now we have the back section open, and we have the what I'll call the front section open. So right now you can should be able to use either one of these workstations. We'll go in there and check. Yep, that one works. And go over to the workstation. That one works as well. So we're good with everything being closed in. We have a cover on our workstations. Now all we're doing is upgrading. We want to box this in. The goal here is that you want to be able to feed the coal in underneath here and have it kick out so that it lands in this little room that we're going to build right here. In order to build that room, we're going to need to go a couple of logs up. And this is just to frame in the door. So to get the door to clip in the center, you want to put a couple of these 1 meter beams in right at the base of this foundation piece. So right in here, you want it to clip all the way through the floor. Snap that in there. Same thing on the other side. Now you can put your door in. You want to center that right in there between those two pieces. Now you can take one of the longer wood pieces or core wood pieces and frame the top of the door in. It's right here. Okay, so that's framed in. Now, to get this filled in, you're gonna have to do a little bit of shenanigans here to get it to work. There's no real way to do this in the dark. Let's take a nap and we'll come back when they've got some sunlight over here, and then we can show you how to do this. I think the next time I do a build in survival mode, I'll put torches up around the perimeter of what I'm working on. All right, sun is finally coming up here a little bit. I think you can see, or it'll get better as we go. But you can't really fill this in too well with the logs unless you just kind of play around with it some. So we're going to do a little bit of shenanigans here. The first log, if you clip it straight to the door on either side, this is the short uprights. You do that on either side. That fills in part of this gap. And then the next piece, you want to just kind of hold shift down, look down at the ground, slide it in to be about even with what you got, and clip it. And then do the same thing on the other side. And that should get you pretty well covered with at least looking like it was meant to be there. Okay, so now we got that part done. We can finish going up. All right, and then close it in with the longer beams. All right, so now we have a working charcoal collection room. So we could put our charcoal in there. We can put our wood in right there. Just look up and pop your wood in there. It'll shoot out, hit that thing and drop right down here in the floor. When you walk in here, pick it up, throw it in the smelter. Oops, use up some of our coal for something else. And yeah, so there you go. That puts, and we'll dress it up some more as we go. Okay, so we've got our stations in there. Now we're going to come around to this side. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole build. Oh, I did want to mention. So when you're here at the forge, when you have metal in the smelter, what it's going to do, if you can, I'll try to step back some. It's going to kick it out right underneath there. So as the metal comes out, it's going to kick it right up underneath your smelter. The forge. All you do is walk up to your forge, and you'll pick it up. And you need to back it up if you want to pick it up by hitting the E button. But if you walk in here and you've got any empty space, it'll pick it up. And I usually just drop it in this box right here. Okay, now to build this piece in here, I like to at least finish filling this piece in. So we're going to try it. I don't have enough wood. But basically, if you look at the outside edges, you can click in, or I'm sorry, the inside edges. You can click the, do it. By looking at the other edges, you can clip these things in and it'll go right up underneath there. That way it'll pop right out. Like I said, when the metal comes out, it'll pop right underneath your workstation there. You do the same thing on the other side, just to neaten things up a little bit. Again, if you're doing this and you're already in Iron Age and you're not having to go step through the first part of the game, you can do this part as you're building for the initial structure, right after you place your smelter down. And now we're all cleaned up here. All right, looking good. So we can come over here and we're going to start with our boxes. Now the boxes on this time are going to go in further. Select box. We're going to turn it this way. And now what I want to do is I want to bring it as far over toward the wall as I can and as far back as I can go without it freaking out. So when it hits the smelter, it's going to jump back. So you don't want to go that far. So just kind of ease it back until just we got about halfway for that board, the floorboard. And click that one down. All right. And do the same thing over on here. I'm going to try to get it about the same. And again, if you kind of look down, if you've zoomed out a little bit, you can kind of judge a little bit better. But close to the wall, about halfway on that board, and click it down. All right, now we're going to take a full wall and we're going to put it right next to this box. What you want to do with this is you want to take it back as far as you can go, keep it on that line right there so that it kind of gets to about the same place as the front of that box, and click it in. Same thing on the other side. Line up with the line on the floor. You have to hold shift key down just to get it to work, then you might have to do that. And again, this is the most tricky, this is the trickiest piece, other than putting that bellows down, that I've found this whole build. But once you get it in there, it'll look pretty cool. Looks pretty good. And clip it in. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to be going all the way up in here to try to charge your smelter anyway. You can stand all the way back here and look at it and charge it from back here. In fact, that's what you're going to want to do, because if you get all up in here, you'll get smoke damage. So you stay back here, you kick it in there, and you're good to go. All right. So then we're going to go up one more on either side with the full wall pieces. I'll help if it'll get straight. Okay, so we have the walls in. Now what we're going to want to do is figure out exactly how high we need to make it. So we're going to have to put in a couple more boxes. And to do that, we're gonna again use the stacking method of using the little small 4 pieces. Hold shift down, look at the line, get it to be right about there. Looks good. Flip it in. Same thing on the other side. And here's where you're going to need another ladder just to be able to see what you're doing. Alright, and then to box this whole thing in, I'll take the half wall piece, turn it around, and I'm going to want to have it come in just about at the top of the boxes. So you're looking at the top core wood piece, flipping it in, and then you should just be able to snap it onto here. Alright, there we go. I like to decorate it up a little bit with some wood poles. Alright, that looks good. And there's the basic hut. Now it's just adding workstations and dressing up a little bit. I'll show you where I put the workstations so you can see how this all comes together to come up with a complete workshop. I'm going to put in an anvil right here. I'm going to put in my cooling bucket. What is it? Metal cooler. I'll think of it in a minute. Forge cooler. What else are we missing? We're missing the adze. You put that in here, so that's bronze and fine wood. Adze fits nicely right here. And I'll put the rest of them in the daylight. Okay, well, I woke up this morning to a skeleton surprise. They can't really get in here, so I'm not going to concern myself too much with it. We'll keep building, and if anything goes haywire, I'll cut and redo this thing. Okay, we have our adze in. The other workstation items, we need anvils. The anvils will also go in the same little area. And you might have to fiddle with it a little bit. Get things to cool. There we go, right there. And that gives me some space to put another box in here where I can store my wood and coal as it comes out of there, and I don't have to worry about where it's at. What's the next workstation we have? Okay, so now we're getting into obsidian area. Well, we got one more. We've got a tool rack for the forge. That's 15 iron, so we've got that. So let's go over and grab that. Don't be so depressed. We're almost done. All right, so we can put the forge tool rack right up here. Make sure you turn it around the right way. Looks like about there is pretty good. I'll put that there. And now we can put in the wooden crafting one. Pop that bad boy right in here. Alright, and the only other one we've got is the grinding wheel. So we'll need wood and we'll need a grinding stone. I've got wood. Here's the grinding stone. And this we will put, again, inside this little cubby hole here. We can put shelf. jump up on top of the adds, give me a better angle here. And this is another one that can be kind of tricky, but you just want to kind of work with it until you can get it to go on this. Oh, there it went. Just for a second. There we go. Pop that there. Now we have a fully operational forge that has level 7. And we have an operational workbench that is at level 5. The other piece is the fermenters. And the reason I put things the way I did was if you take the core wood pieces and you box in the anvil and the tanning rack, you have a perfectly sized stand for your fermenters. You want to make sure you're clipping this to the other logs and not the base of the build so that it lines up. Otherwise, one side will be shorter than the other. Don't be so glum, we're making brews. So a trick here is if you get it too close to the edge and then you try to make something in there, it's going to say that it was too exposed and you'll waste the mead that you tried to make with it. So try to get these things as far back under the roof as you possibly can get them, just so they barely clip in front and back, and you should be fine. Alright, with our fermenters in, the only thing left is extra storage. Go back to our build menu, get our small core wood pieces, and box in these corners. Now you don't have to do all that finished work like I just did, but I just think it makes it look better in the long run. How you fill in your storage here, whether you want to use big boxes or small boxes, that's up to you. I'll do some decorating and we'll be right back and show you what the finished product looks like. Well, one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned while we're going through this is I found that stacking boxes, just like the stacking of the kiln, is usually easier to do if you've got some elevation. So if you're getting ready to try to do this, or you're trying to stack the boxes, you just can't get them to snap in right. They don't look like they're even, or you're having a hard time getting a little floor piece to go in. Grab a ladder and get a better viewpoint above so you can actually see the wall and move the floor piece in and out on the section so you get it to where you want it, and then clip it down. It will make your life tons easier by just throwing a ladder up and doing it this way. And when you're putting these in, it's a pain to get them lined up, but I've found if you try to use the shift trick and line the boards up on either side, you usually get them pretty close. Alright, so let me finish putting these boxes in and we'll be right back. Well, there you have all-in-one unit. I have one last piece to put on, or 4 last pieces to put on, and that's the roof. So we'll put some ladders up there and we'll get that on there. Fermenters are working, the workstations are working. Label my boxes. For some reason the bees just did not want to work out over here where I put this thing, so I had to move them off of the actual station. But you get the idea here. Let me get these ladders up and then let's cap the roof off. Alright, this is not the easiest thing to do. Make sure you don't have anything in the charcoal kiln while you're trying to do it. We're going to put 45-degree corners all the way around here, and that should enclose the actual kiln. Usually if you look down at the corner, it's all about where you happen to be standing. There we go, that one's done. Now I can kind of move over, get this one to click into place, and this one. Oh no. Make sure you eat something before you go do this, because if you fall off and you've got like 10 health, then you'll be dead, and that'll be frustrating. Come on, clip. All right, and there we are, all capped off, and we are set. When you want to make charcoal, just duck inside here, look straight up. You should be able to see where it says charcoal kiln 25. You can add your wood, and what'll happen is it's going to pop out right down below. Close the door, and it'll just stack up inside of there, so that when you're ready to smelt your metal, you can just feed it from either picking up off the floor, or you can keep it, that box there full of coal to feed into here. You're not going to be able to get in, more than likely, because if you decorate it the way I have, it'll be too tight of a fit. But you can still, you can see, you can access the smelter, throw your metal in there. You don't really want to be up in here anyway, because you're gonna end up getting smoke damage. We've got our bins labeled for everybody to put stuff where they're supposed to put it. Oops, forgot to. All the workbenches are working. The only other thing that I have added in the original version of this is razors. So pop those on here real quick and we will be done. Usually try to find a center point here for a 26-degree beam. I can get that to kind of figure out where it wants to be. Flip that in, then get this straight beam and have it clip in. I need to get a ladder out. Usually they'll go. Bring a straight piece across here. And put my brazier right there. And it also counts as a fire, so if you get in here and get inside this area here, you're going to get a shelter buff, which ain't bad to get while you're fixing your stuff. So do the same thing on the other side, and you'll have a brazier on that side, and you will have the basic model done. If you want to add stuff, I mean, if you want to decorate, put more torches around, you want to put a trophy head up, decorate these entrances a little bit better so that they build with your particular build, great, have at it. This will give you an idea of the basic setup so that you've got a real compact all-in-one unit with highly upgraded crafting stations and 2 fermenters so that you can go ahead and craft up your brews for whatever adventures you want to take. I have this little roof over here. Like I said, fix this thing up any way you want to. This is entirely up to you. Alright, here's the finished build. Everything operational. What I want to do is show you that we can get all this stuff in a nice little footprint. It doesn't look ugly. It doesn't look like SpongeBob, Pineapple Under the Sea type situation. Really, I think fits the game. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this is something that you might want to incorporate into your base. If you decide to do that, all I ask is that you hit the like button on this video so that I know that people are enjoying it. Helps with the algorithm. Also, if you enjoy my videos, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video to Old Gamers Never Die. And with that, this is Julie signing off.